Hi, this is Andrew Dotson with the Bay City Times and MLive.com, and I'm near the scene on the Saginaw River where the Jupiter freighter exploded 25 years ago. The gas tanker was unloading 2.3 million gallons of unleaded gasoline at Total Petroleum on a Sunday morning when it broke away from its mooring lines after another freighter passed by it. A spark caused a fire and soon the freighter exploded, its smoke visible from more than 50 miles away. This week, we talked with residents, journalists, and some of the first responders to the scene to learn about the day when an inferno burned unceasingly on the Saginaw River.
I was headed to Delta College for a group meeting, and the whole way I could see this massive plume of black smoke. If you had a house down by the river, you had a business down by the river, you had a boat stored down there or something like that, I mean, you're talking about a potential ticking time bomb here if that fire wasn't put out.
Brand new firefighter. I had just started on the Bangor Township Fire Department in January of 1990, full-time, and started my new career. And I was getting off duty the morning the Jupiter exploded, and sitting there having coffee in the station, and we got called out for a boat fire. And as soon as we pulled out of the station and saw the black smoke in the sky, we knew it was more than a boat fire.
There was a lot of smoke, and it was rolling up, as an oil fire does. So, but at that point, it had just started to move. The ship had just started to move out into the channel, swing out. So that's where the tether had broken. And of course, the response teams were coming, the fire departments from both cities, and Coast Guard had started up. And but there was nothing for a few minutes. You were just alone, and Wes was taking pictures. My time was spent trying to find out what happened. You could see what was going on, but you couldn't get close to it. No one did.
Once the Williams Boots and Coots Company came up with the foam and all their specialized equipment for fighting this kind of fire, I got assigned to stretch a firefighting line on the old Detroit and Mackinac Railroad Bridge, which is now the Lake State Railroad Bridge, downriver from it. And the thought was, if the Jupiter were to break loose during the extinguishing process and start drifting downriver, we wanted some way to spray more water and foam on it from a different location. And as I was sitting out there on the end of this railroad bridge, manning this water nozzle, I remember just falling forward in my chair and falling asleep. And I actually missed most of the extinguishment of the fire because I was actually sleeping on the end of the railroad bridge. So,
what the fear was that tether, the second tether would break, that could swing out, and then the whole burning thing would go downriver and take out all of the marinas that were down there toward the mouth of their, or you wouldn't know where it would go. And it would break apart because it had a 75-foot crack in it.
All the way up to Saginaw, you couldn't get a boat up or back out into the bay. So from commerce standpoint, it was it was detrimental at the time. And it wasn't just a day here and a day there that it was shut down. I mean, it was literally shut down for weeks on end.
That night after the fire started, it had been early in the morning. I got sent up to forward command. We had a command post right up by the fence where the Jupiter was at, and the job of that position was to kind of watch the draft marks on the boat and see if the boat was settling in the water, sinking down into the water at all, and make sure it was still not moving, and if anything was to happen. And I got sent up there to be in charge at forward command. And here I am, I had just finished my fire training and just barely on the job, and I think I looked at the chief and it's like, are you serious? You're sending me up there to forward command by myself?
For disasters on a river, this has got to rank #1. Of course, during the lumbering era, there was a lot of fires, with the millions of feet of lumber stacked along the river's edge. We had a lot of fireboats on the river, but nothing that would ever compare to what we had here at the Jupiter. So it seems like with every disaster, they look back and say, my gosh, why didn't we do this? So it improves itself right along. Like I said, with the Jupiter, probably it was more safety precautions on loading and unloading the fuel, how the boat is affixed to pilings so it doesn't move when another vessels pass by.
Well, this was a spectacular fire as far as fires go. Of course, the Winona fire was the most tragic in that 10 people died. In this one man died, which was bad, but and 2 were hurt. But considering what happened, the fact that anybody survived was a miracle, I guess. But